In the previous video we made it pretty clear what it means to do the work. And I have now made a video where I'm talking a bit more in depth on what the work really is. There are so many different things we can accomplish in this game, and I'm touching a bit upon what those different types of work is. But before I release that video, I want to go a bit more in depth on one of the things that I mentioned in that video. It is essentially the tests that you will be presented with throughout the day, and we're going to talk more about that now. And like I said, we will go more in depth on it on this video, just so that you can understand it better. When you can see this for what it is, then your growth can come a lot more naturally. It can make life a lot more fun. So let's talk about it. When you are completely free in this game, then you have gotten to a place to where your frequency is on the highest level, and you have accomplished this through experience in your game. You need experience. It's simply just not going to be possible for you to keep on experiencing life from this point on in the highest frequency without having gotten used to having the experience of the highest frequency. I hope that makes sense. On the highest frequency you might have a phenomenal ability to, let's say for example, draw the line, put your foot down, say no, say yes, be helpful, kind, respectful, be someone who can communicate your ideas without being stressed. There are so many things in life that you might want to accomplish. And for you to accomplish those things, you will be tested. For you to genuinely be on a frequency to where you can draw the line, or set your foot down, or say no, you will probably have had to be in a situation where you had to do that. Now, before you get to a point where you can draw the line successfully without creating havoc or stress, you might have failed to draw the line. You might have failed to say no. You might have gotten into experiences where you felt taken advantage of, and after recognizing that it wasn't fun to be taken advantage of, you might have felt like developing the ability to draw the line and to say no. Then you will have been put in a situation where you were supposed to draw the line and say no, and if you did so successfully, then you will have gained the frequency to where you don't really face those type of situations anymore. You gain a different type of frequency that is going to give you a different experience, to where people aren't necessarily putting you in those situations anymore, if you understand what I mean. You will have a different frequency and therefore have a different experience. So there you have a test. You will be tested in all sorts of ways based on what you want to accomplish. This is pretty much what I'm mentioning and touching upon in the next video that will come out. In that video I'm using one example, and it is somewhat of an extreme example. I'm mentioning that you might walk down the road one day as you are someone who wants to be helpful and live in a world where people are helping each other selflessly. And then suddenly you see someone standing on the field with their tractor. The tractor has broken down and they need help, and there might be tremendously much for you to gain from helping them selflessly, without asking for money, without nagging and being negative about you, maybe potentially having something else to do instead. So that is the example. Now essentially we're just talking about having balance when it comes to selfishness versus selflessness. You want to be a little selfish in this game. Unless you are, then you're probably just going to get run over constantly, forever. You need to prioritize yourself. Then you also want to be somewhat selfless. You have to understand that the experiences throughout life where you can be selfless and help others are really just the experiences where you are being tested and where you can gain the frequency that you have wanted to gain. If you want to be kind and helpful, live in a world where people help each other, then you might simply get tested in these type of ways before you can genuinely experience that frequency. Now, you have probably helped people before, or similar things, and noticed that it was very lovely. You didn't waste your energy when you did so. You invested in yourself, you invested in your own frequency. You did something for yourself that was simply going to make your life better, give you more empowerment. And you have to understand that the test that you will be presented with is, of course, tailored to you. You're not going to be invited out in the field to help someone fix their tractor engine if you don't know anything about tractor engines. And if you do, then there is a different angle to the test. Maybe you know someone who can help, maybe you have a phone and you can call someone for help. Maybe there are other things to it that you can gain. It could be a higher level of confidence when it comes to talking to strangers. Maybe they don't really speak the same language as you, and you get tested there, and you get to experience a higher confidence, because maybe you're put in a situation where you have no other choice than to just doing your best. You see, the test can include a lot of things. It can be very beautiful like that. It can teach you a lot, and try not to be so critical of the situations that pop up in your life. You probably know that you don't want to spend too much time with negative people, but those people might have a lot to teach you. Stay open-minded, recognize what it is that you want in life, and recognize the tests that present themselves. They can be very small, like I said, to the point to where maybe you just have a little talk with someone and it's going to help you with your confidence when it comes to talking with strangers. Or it could be you being put on the spot and having to explain something and you successfully did so. It could be you helping someone carry something, maybe from their car. It can come in all shapes. It just depends on what it is that you want to accomplish in this game. What type of frequency do you want to gain? So stay awake and aware. These situations that present themselves throughout the day is not random. It is a real big part of life. A big part of life is growth, and these situations are going to help you grow. So shut them down if you want to, but you're not really going to do yourself a favor by doing so. You might find a lot of joy in these experiences. Now, if you have benefited from this video, kindly consider becoming a supporter. Abundance, health and prosperity to you. Thank you so much.